Lisbon 02. I drive to Todd's house, but he isn't there. And so I sit in his room and put a movie in the Betamax and call Steven and ask him if nuts are sensitive to cracks, and doesn't matter. And he says, turn sideways and stick your tongue out. You could pass for a zipper. And I draw on a piece of paper that's next to the phone, and he says, aren't you lucky to have a nice daddy? And it was obviously a dismissal. And he says, I'm going to have trouble squeezing my head out the door. And I say, I know. And there's a long silence, heavy with irony, before he says, okay. And I say, our blankets are besieged by boys, and hang up. Date with Evelyn. I imagine the whole scenario quite clearly. They're all drinking her parents' blueberry cassis and cristal when I arrive. And Evelyn, a tall, sleek brunette in Anne Klein and antique gold earrings that cost roughly $137,000, gives a tinkly little laugh. Oh, you mean like chaperone? And hands a glass of plum wine to me. I can hardly stand up. The room seems impossible, appears so much older. If only I could have parties like this, with Evelyn on Mars and her deafening wine and Maserati, her father's cellar, big dizzy estate in Connecticut, and sprawled in the back seat of an unappealing cab, I idly wonder if I should cut them up. Fill the bath with Evelyn, bump into tables of Malcolm, trip over James, drink David like liquor from a glass. Lisbon 04. It's 2 a.m. and hot, and we're at the beach disco. And Todd is trying on my sunglasses, and I tell him that I am a fair lady lost in a sea of iced tea. And I tense up every time the music stops, and the DJ passes out sizzling hamburgers of dry wit. And the guy in the red leather pants over by the bar is so hot. He must think I'm the classiest girl in the whole world. And he stares like there's a movie star on his back lawn. And Stephen gets all huffy and says, look, with a trace of annoyance. But instead I look at Todd and tell him again, I'm an old hag, a real witch. And Todd says, you're too much. And I keep staring at my shoes, a fair lady lost in a sea of iced tea. Lisbon 05. Nobody's home. My room hasn't changed. The walls are still white, books in place, Venetian blinds open as I left them, and on the wall, the poster for O'Neill's Touch of the Poet, starring Jason Robards, a wry, ironic smile on his lips. Jason, why didn't you bring me something sexier? Jason's eyes don't look at me. They only look at whoever's standing by the window. The AC is on and the house smells like pine. Doctors in and out all day. Everything is totally wrong. Do you believe how absolutely horrendous I look today, Jason? I'm disgustingly fat, Jason. I swear, the skinniest legs in America, the bumpiest knees. You expect me to wear that? Wash this stuff out of my hair? Take off all this makeup? I'm so gross, Jason. Just look at me. I'm too tired to stand by the window. This is not an exit. I'm getting sick. I'm plastic. There could be a telethon for all the things wrong with me. This is what we do to flee ourselves. It's easier than being happy. My mother cleaned out my closet. This is what we do to please others. She has her own sense of order. You never know when her wicked gleam will stare you into a tiny shrinking smudge. Everything was veiled while I was gone. All night, stood here, a depressed pile of notebooks floating 2 feet off the pavement, another broken scene in what passes for my life. My past spelled out in toilet paper on the lawn. This is the last one I'm going to read tonight. It's called Epilogue. Aren't you having a good time here? Why don't you tell me who I am if you know so much? Locate the moment I became the damaged party girl who wandered the wreckage of New York, dead inside my perfect size 6 life. It isn't perfect, you know. My mother and brother are out shopping. There's a note on the Spanish-style kitchen table. It's so mean. It's so unfair when people say mean things behind your back. I can see the dog, Prince Albert, lying by the pool, breathing heavily, asleep, his fur ruffled by the wind. My near's faithless reflection requires answers without questions, inspires flickering thoughts of tired irony. From my nose streams blood of a vast abandoned world. Thank you very much.